Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm dubbing my podcast a truth tellers podcast. And some people might appreciate that. A lot of other people don't. Now, one of the most fearless truth tellers out there today. I am a fangirling out a little bit. I can't lie to you, but all of that aside, I respect what Jesse Lee Peterson does. I'm so grateful that he's came here today, and I got him right in the back studio. Hi, everybody. Say hi to Jesse Lee Peterson.
Thanks for having me on, Jan. Amazing.
It's amazing. I love your streams. You work so hard. You have foundations, you have a school, you write books. How do you do that? How do you get everything done live streaming for hours? And you are so consistent. It's absolutely remarkable how much energy that you have.
Well, I have to honestly tell you, but first I got to say to you and your audience, happy White History Month. July just feels white.
Oh my. You are one of the first people that has the cojones to say that. And, you look at you and you don't expect somebody like you to say that. And when you say that on your channel, I crack up hysterically because I know everybody on the left, they're boiling mad at that because they are the ones that did this. They
Yeah.
put color into this. Nobody gives nobody cares. I caught myself, right? No,
What the?
right. Nobody cares what color you are. We care about how you are as a person, but the
Yeah,
left always makes it about race.
that's right. I want to respond to your first question about I just want to finish with that and then go back to the energy. But I wa- uh, why are people afraid to say Happy White History Month when they know that this country was founded by white men and when they came and created this country with the help of God, and they created an amazing constitution, free speech, and all that. Why are people? They say happy holiday to everything else, right?
Everything
Black
else.
history, gay history, whatever, Mexican, everything but white people, and this is their country. Why do you think there are people who are on the right side are afraid to say Happy White History Month?
I think it has been polarized so much that people have been afraid of cancel culture. They've seen how the left ruins lives. They get people fired from their jobs. They turn family members against one another. And I think they have sat back and allowed themselves to be crippled by the fear. I think the
Yeah,
fear mongering of the media and of cancel culture has done a remarkable number. And, I think the politics have a lot to do with it as well. I was fooled by Obama and I voted for him twice. And,
crazy.
it's sad that has turned to this, but I say always, I'm proud of who I am as a person. I didn't control what I came out as. I can't control, my father and mother meeting and doing their thing.
That's
So
right.
I played no part in my heritage. Played no part. That's not a goal. That's not
Yeah,
anything that set forth to do and achieve. I can't be proud of that.
that's right.
So I think that they're just afraid.
You're
I
right. You're totally right. It's the fear. And that's why we must overcome fear because fear is not from God and it's not from you. Fear is an abnormal state of being. And unless the people overcome fear, they will always be controlled by someone, somebody, or something. But when you don't have fear, you overcome the world. And so, and that's what Christianity is supposed to be about. Is God said that we must be born again, and every human being who is born through the woman, born of flesh, must be born of the Spirit of God, of the Father. And once you're born of that Spirit, all fear disappear. When you overcome anger, anyone that has fear has anger. Anger is evil. Anger is of the devil. So anyone that has anger cannot be trusted either. They're evil. It doesn't
Mm.
matter if it's a family member, husband, wife situation, whatever it might be. Anyone that has anger cannot be trusted because they have fear. Their nature is that of the devil. So that's why I encourage people to overcome anger by going and forgiving. And before I went and did that, I would have been able to do what has been done through me. Because when I went and forgave my mother for trying to turn me against my father, and forgave my father for not protecting me, God took away the spirit of fear and gave me love in my heart, His nature, right? And in that, He gave me a natural energy. And so I can honestly tell you that the work that I do is not of me, and I'm able to do all this stuff because I'm being led to do it. It's not of myself. It's a natural energy that comes from love, which is the nature of the Father. So that's how, and we got to encourage people. They must go and forgive their parents first, especially the mother, and then return to the Father, and they would become free. And then we will have love in our country instead of hate. Anger is hate. Anger is not of God. It's not good. It destroys you and everybody around you if that they allow that to happen.
You are on point. Forgiveness is one, I think, the toughest things for a human to do.
Yeah,
And it's such a brave thing to do, even if people have wronged you in the most horrific ways, to move on from that anger. Forgiveness. And I, for the longest time, I'm Italian number one, I'm a Taurus number two, and I'm a woman number three. It's very
what a
difficult.
mess.
What is a woman today? We don't even know today, right?
Yeah,
And I a mess, right? And it was very difficult for me to forgive, and I will never forget, but I have forgiven, and I've noticed that since I've done that, and I don't call the people who've done me dirty. I just say it out loud. I forgive them, and it's been such a cleansing experience,
yeah,
and it does subside that anger a lot. When you hold on to that anger and that resentment, it's like a pit in your stomach. It's very evil, and I think you're absolutely correct. The anger is so profound today
yeah,
in this country. It's so sad to see. You've lived through the Jim Crow era,
yeah.
you've lived through the civil rights movement, and what is going on today is absolutely utter chaos.
Yeah, it's crazy because they are pushing anger as good. The Christians and non-Christians alike are telling people, you should have anger. Jesus was angry. Anger is good. Jesus
Yeah.
was not angry, and anger is not good. Have you gone and forgiven your mother?
Yeah, that was one of the hardest things that I've done.
And when you told her you were sorry for resenting her for what she did, how did she react?
She cried.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you still forgave her?
Yes.
And how about your father for not protecting you from her?
Well, my father had passed away,
Oh,
so I didn't have the opportunity to, but I talk to him in spirit and whatnot. My stepfather was amazing, so I really don't have any. He actually turned me in. I went to prison. So
you've
that
been in
ate.
prison?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
And
gangster.
did you have a knife in prison and you saw your way out?
I wish. I wish. It was the worst 3 years of my life under the crime bill stipulations. I myself dealt with addiction because I was angry.
Yeah,
I was all victimized, and I carried that victimhood mentality around with me for a long time. And so that ate me up, and to feel not to feel that, I numb myself, like the
yeah,
Hunter Biden, but worse, but I
yeah.
think
I
all
understand.
substances are bad, but yeah, I carried a lot of resentments with me, and unfortunately I got caught up in the whole system, and it wasn't a good experience, but it was a learning experience for
Right
me.
on. Yeah,
And I got home, and my dad, even visiting me once a month, my stepdad was he look at me and cry because he felt bad that he put me there, but it saved my life.
yeah,
And I've been sober since November 1st of 2014, and I'll never go back there. But he before a week before he died, we had a really long conversation. His death was very unexpected, but we had a very in-depth conversation about a lot of stuff. And in that
Nice.
conversation, it was, I do not hold any resentments for you. I thank you for saving my life. I'm not mad at you. Please don't think I hate you for that, because I don't. Anybody, you know, anybody I think would have some ill will towards somebody for turning them in to go to prison. But when you figure it out that that was actual love and that they were at their wits end with me, it was pretty apparent that that's what needed to be done.
Right on. But the one thing I do want to encourage you is that forgiveness means to forget. You don't
Yeah.
want to remember that, because that's what the devil in the imagination will use against you. He
Hmm.
will make you remember the so called past and the so called future. But you want to forgiveness. You understand that whomever hurt you, whatever they did, your mother, your whatever, right? They couldn't help themselves. If they had been able to do better, they would have, but they couldn't help it. They were driven by anger as well. And so when you understand that about yourself, you will understand that about them. And once you truly forgive them, you will forget. Because it doesn't exist anymore. It's just an illusion in the imagination. So just as God doesn't remember anything that we've done, we should not remember anything that someone else has done, because they couldn't help it. It wasn't them, it was that spirit that made a home in them.
I knew it. I knew. I watched how you worked with Sneeko on your podcast last week, and I'm going, I would need to get him on. And then it was a beautiful thing that this happened. But I knew by bringing you on, you would lead me to the right direction. And again, how people attack you, it's so sad to me, because you come from a very good place and you just want to guide people. You've been on this earth a minute. So you just want people to do their best and to be at their best. And because you're not afraid to tell the truth and how it is, they attack you, and it's so sad to see. It makes me so angry, but I love how you clap back at them. I really
Yeah.
do.
And I do want to add, I've been here longer than a minute. On the third,
Lots of them.
God made me, and then He made the ground that I may walk on. He made dirt. He made me
Oh,
first and then dirt.
you're older than dirt.
I'm
I'm
older
there.
than dirt.
Well, you look great, and your energy is absolutely astounding to me. Like I'm 43, but I am
Wow.
so overran with, like, I'm so tired all of the time, but I have that drive, like you said. I think it when I think I saw this movie. It was a film about human trafficking and with all these kids, and it just lit a fire under me, and I've not been able to stop since on this mission to save these kids. And it's like you say, it's not you, it's a driving force behind you. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who doubt in the Lord. They doubt in Christianity. They doubt, they
Yeah.
hate, they hate. And it's like,
Yeah.
I've personally experienced some things that are not in a science book, or not speaking about that. I literally came back from death twice. And I was saved by a force greater than me. So I have to say, I'm not a non-believer. I'm not. I seen things when I was literally flatlined dead. Not Thankfully, I had a paramedics working on me to bring me back.
Wow.
And
So you died?
I had two instances in my life like that. The first one, I was flatlined, and the second one, I was right there on the verge in respiratory arrest. First one was I almost suffered cardiac arrest. I was in respiratory arrest and almost suffered a full blown cardiac arrest. But the second one, I did not. It was too near fatal. But I'm here, and I'm here for a purpose.
And so what did it look like to be dead?
Oh, well, the first time this happened, it was it was the room shrinking to a pinpoint, and it was almost like a vacuum system, and I saw lights. That was it, but I felt calmness, I felt warmness. I didn't see anything but fast going lights. and the room just shrinking. And then I just felt okay. But then I got brought back, and that hurt really bad because they hit me with defibrillation,
Oh
because my
yeah.
heart rate was very, very, it was, I think they said 3 beats per minute. So I
Whoa.
was literally, that's why I say near flatline. It was 3 beats per minute that my heart was going. I was almost there, but it was a beautiful experience. It wasn't scary at all. Now the second time it happened, it was pure blackness. But at that point in my life, I still had a lot of anger in me. I still
Yeah.
had a lot of resentments, a lot of things going on in my mind that aren't healthy, and a lot of characteristics of mine that I have fixed, because we're all, this is a learning lesson life, and we all grow. And people today are being punished for something they said 30 years ago, or and they're just like Roseanne, and
Yeah.
all of these people, but they're not liberals that get canceled. Never. We could have people don blackface like Justin Trudeau. He's fine. But there are
Yeah.
so many people that get canceled if they're conservative, and it's like, I can't even win anymore with these people. I can't.
Yeah.
You know,
So that's why you shouldn't fight with them. You make such an interesting point. Like when you forgive, then you are guided moment to moment by that light that you saw when you uh, left your body or whatever happened, right? That's
mm,
the light that guides you right here on earth when you forgive. But when you don't forgive, that darkness you saw is the darkness that is guiding you, right? That's why people who have anger, they have fear, so they'll live in hell on earth. But when they forgive, they will come into the light and they can live paradise on earth because you're guided by that same light. And that's why I try to encourage people to forgive. Don't wait until you die because you don't want to drop your body with that anger. You'll be stuck in that darkness and there's no way out. At least while you live, you have a chance to overcome the darkness. When you forgive your mother, forgive your father, you'll come into the light and then you live by that.
I think you're absolutely correct. I think, it's how you make it and how you live your life.
Yeah.
I used to think this was the stupidest thing on earth, when I'd have other people trying to guide me through life, because clearly I couldn't do it my way. It really sucked. And they told me, humble yourself, get down on your knees every night and every day when you wake up, and thank your guardian angel, whoever you believe in, thank them. And I'm thinking to myself, that's dumb. But as soon as I started doing that, I literally became even more happier of a person. I've never been happier than I am today. And you're right, I don't fight with anybody.
Yeah.
I could hear a million great comments. This was before, about a year ago. I went on a self-love journey, year and a half ago, and I went on a self-love journey, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I would hear all of these great comments, millions and millions, not millions, but like a lot.
Right.
And that one negative comment that I see, it stuck out to me like a sore thumb, and I harped on that, and I focused only on that. I am ignoring all of the good comments, and I'm focusing and honing in on this bad comment, going, what can I do to fix it? What can I do to fix myself? And I'm thinking to myself, today I'm over here going, well, if people get argumentative or whatnot, I laugh and I say, yeah, especially on your channel, I'm sure you get a lot of negative feedback from whoever. They help your channel. Doesn't matter if it's negative or a good comment, it still counts in the algorithm. And they have no clue that they're helping you. So today I do say that. I say, if you're going to go ahead, and speak, just know you're helping me either way. So I don't care. And, I know I'm a good person today. So I know that nothing anybody says who doesn't know me personally, can't attest for that. So it's pretty interesting.
Well, the
You
one thing,
go ahead.
and just real fast, one thing I've learned about life that I didn't know before is that if someone can make you feel something, if they can make you feel good or make you feel bad, they are controlling you. That
Mm,
means that you're of the world, right? But when you overcome anger, if someone says something nice about you, that's nice. And if they say something bad about you, that's nice. You're not controlled by either way, because you realize that if you feel something on the inside, the kingdom of heaven is within. There's another reality within us. And these opportunities outside of us give us an opportunity to look and see what's going on the inside. So if we feel any kind of way about it, that's something we need to overcome, and we should welcome that. If someone attack me, okay. If I feel something about it, it's something I need to overcome that ego, because if you didn't have that ego, then no one can make you feel good or bad, and you have a great appreciation for whatever, right? For life. So that's another thing that has to happen. When you come into the light, God will destroy the thoughts and feelings, because all thoughts and all feelings are lies. It's of the devil. You're possessed with evil when someone can make you feel something and you think that is you, but it's really not you. So you have to welcome that by not running from it, but overcoming it.
Absolutely. Overcoming that ego. That's very hard for some people. It's very hard for some people,
Yeah,
especially if they get a little bit of platform or they get a
yeah,
little attention. I see like a lot of people letting ego run rampant and just ew, I can't do that. I am nobody special. I am a person. I'm a mother. I am a good human being. I am just a human like everybody else.
yeah,
I just can't. The word fan grosses me out. I don't it is, there's a story behind it, but that's here neither here nor there.
yeah,
It's just that ego. You know, I can't do it. I used to be egotistical when I was a kid,
yeah.
but then I went through a very long span of shame and guilt and remorse, and it was just a vicious cycle.
Nice.
There's so many people in Hollywood and even on this platform that are pure evil, and
Yeah,
I know one in particular, right? You had an interaction with him that I loved how in what you just said, you expressed exactly here on that segment that you were on. Rashad Ritchie, he that interaction that he had with you when he shut you down after he asked you about how you felt about BLM, and he couldn't handle the truth.
yeah.
He shut you down, and we heard you laughing in the background, and it
I was
was
like,
epic.
what the?
That was funny. But I'm a fan of tattoos, and I might get a tattoo of you here or something that says BLM is a bunch of black fat radical lesbians, and I think it was the most brilliant thing in the whole world. I chuckled. I don't think I've laughed like that in a long time. I think race is such a serious matter, but it's not.
It's
I
not.
I see it as some people are so hyper focused on something that nobody had any control over,
Yeah,
and it's meant to divide us. So many evil figures in this world
yeah.
that are propelled by evil that you know damn well are going to hell. They are the ones that love to divide people, and it's absolutely sick. And Rashad Ritchie, I think, is one of the worst race baiters that we have in modern day history. That
I,
whole channel.
I can honestly tell you, without a doubt, there's no such thing as racism, sexism, homophobism, Islamophobism, Debbie-Daism, white supremacism, or anti-Semitism. No isms. It's clear that our battle is a spiritual battle. It's a warfare between good and evil. It is not physical at all. And until you men and women return to the Father, they are on the side of evil. Their hearts are wicked. They are trying to hurt other human beings so that they can get a false sense of feeling good of life, right? Not knowing that it's death. But when they overcome that anger, which is of the devil, they will have love, the nature of God, and they would love even their enemies, because they would know that their enemies could not see. So when the enemies are trying to hurt them, they wouldn't take it personally, because they realize that the person can see. And that's how we live on earth as children, sons and daughters of God. We have to live here as perfect love, so we can be in the world but not of it. We must come to that order of God in Christ, Christ and man, man over woman, and woman over children. Nothing else is going to work. But that order, we
I
got to come
agree.
back to that.
I absolutely agree. There's nothing wrong with the nuclear family. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. It is a beautiful family unit. It has been destroyed. The I was just watching a video today. A girl called, her name is Sexy Red. She is a rapper, and all of these rappers today, which are supposed to be role models, millions of views on YouTube, right? Speaking about the worst things ever that I don't even want. I blush when I've got two kids, and I blush when I heard this girl's song. That is the role model for today. So
Yeah.
the fight between good versus evil, you're right, it's not about black versus white.
No,
It's not anything of the sort. It's
no.
not left versus right. It literally, we are at that point where it
Yeah.
is good against evil. Either you're on that side or you're on this side, willing to fight for the greater good. it's
Absolutely.
it's
You
so
know, I wanted
crazy.
to ask, um, do you, what do you think about men playing in women's sports?
No, absolutely not.
And why not?
Well, I don't believe that men should play in women's sports. Because you're a man, you could play in your own sports. I don't care how you identify. You are stronger, you're bigger, you're faster, and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely dangerous. And if, I think that we should have a trans division if they want one. Fine, compete against like-minded and like bodied people that you are confused in your gender. Okay, that's fine, you could exist. I don't say you can't exist. I say, but don't step over somebody to get where you want to get. That's not how we do things. That's not the
Yeah.
natural order of things. And no, I just think it's very dangerous, and it crosses a boundary that shouldn't have been crossed in the first place.
And so, what do you think about women playing in men's sports? Should that be happening?
Uh-uh. No, I think no, definitely
Nice.
not. Definitely not. Because,
It's
we're no match. What is your take on it?
you. I agree 100%. So, I'm wondering out loud, why do people, and they rightly so, they should keep men out of women's sport, but there are women who are okay with women playing in men's sport, and I'm like, if it what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and so
Right.
and
But
so why and maybe you can help me. Why are these women fighting to get women in men's sport, but fighting against men being in women's sport? Just because the guy have on a dress, he's still a male.
absolutely. Chromosomes. It all boils down to chromosomes. You know why I think it is? Because of this facade that probably Oprah Winfrey started with the wage gap, and oh, women should be paid as much as men in sports. Have you watched a WNBA game? I've never in my life.
Me either.
NBA, right? NBA, NFL, I've watched the men play because they're more entertaining, they're more athletic. The
Yeah.
women, we're supposed to just sit here and look cute and be the cheerleader. That's our roles. Our gender roles have been
Yeah.
obliterated today. And I think that that's why these women are proponents for women in men's sports, because they think that they should play, even if they play worse than a man, they think that, well, we deserve to get the pay. No, you don't.
Right.
You don't deserve to get paid as much as men do in sports. You're not as entertaining, you're not as athletic, you're not as agile. Number two is, I believe that these women think that they should be able to make as much money as a man as well in the workforce. And I don't think that's that. No, men work harder, longer, hours, more dangerous jobs. And I don't believe that women, should be making more than men, and or bitching about it. Sorry, pardon my language. I don't think we really don't have much to complain about, other than, I think some women are refusing to do the family patriarchy, to allow a man over them, to be subservient to a man. I think that that has been absolutely demonized in the media, and people are threatened by that, to have mother father roles, and to have
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
motherly role, the nurturer, and the father is a disciplinarian.
Yeah.
I just think
I
common values have gone down the commode.
yeah, I saw that happen to the blacks. As you mentioned earlier, I grew up in Alabama. I grew up on a plantation. My parents and their parents and their parents did as well. I was young when the Jim Crow happened. I grew up under the Jim Crow situation, but I can honestly tell you that that did not affect the family. It did not affect the blacks at all. They were working. The father and mother were together. They respected one another. They taught their children how to work and be responsible. And they went to schools. It was all black school, but there was no big deal about that either. And those who they wanted to go to a college, they went to a black college, no big deal. And those who didn't, they learned a trade, they learned how to take care of themselves. And during those days, we were taught about good versus evil, and that there were good white folks and evil white folks, good black people and evil black people, that had nothing to do with the color. And the word racism did not exist. If it did, I had never heard it before, because we were taught it was a spiritual thing and to treat people the way we would like to be treated. But then, and last point, another point about that, when I was growing up, my grandparents told me that because I was a male, once you become an adult male, you can't stay at home on a mama dress tail anymore, right? And so they said, at 18, you're out of here. So remind you, I'm on a plantation. Where am I going? Right? I'm like, well, where am I going at 18? And my grandmother and grandfather said, I don't know. I don't care, but you're out of here. I'm like, what the? And so, and they taught me to work though from day one. So I knew how to take care of myself. And I can honestly tell you, I turned 18 in May. In July, I went up to Indiana. I got a job and I worked for 2 weeks because I wanted to move to LA. I made and at that time it was $50 to fly one way to LA
Oh,
from Indiana, from Chicago. And so I got a job. I worked for 2 weeks. I quit the job. I moved to LA at 18. I've been out here ever since, off and on, moved to different places, but I've been here. And because I've been able to work, I made a lot of mistakes when I got here because I moved to a city, right? But I never thought of going back home and crying to mama or moving back in, because I was taught that way growing up by example and how to work. And but the men don't have that today. Now they're told the blacks it's racism, it's slavery, it's Jim Crow, and a lot of blacks have believed into that lie, and they're not thinking for themselves. They're no longer individual. They have become group thinking, and life is hell for them.
it's tragic because I grew up in a
Yeah.
predominantly black neighborhood. I was one of two white girls on the block. And, I've the only time I've ever had problems was with the other Irish girl, same name. Her name was Jenny, but that's why I don't like being called that, you know. And so it was very difficult it's very difficult change from me growing up in a very different era than you,
Yeah.
and to seeing exactly where race was never a problem or an issue, but where we are today is absolutely crazy. And the people that have our values, our core, our morals and values, are the ones that really need to have children and really need to instill those morals and values into
Yeah.
them as well. Today, these kids are a lost cause. They have these rappers that are babysitting them, Facebook, Instagram, all kinds of social media, and it's just poisoning the minds. And I feel bad for anybody who walks around with a victimhood mentality,
Yeah.
thinking that some you grew up on a plantation and you said, look, it didn't affect me at all, and anybody and everybody, if you're here in the United States, we're lucky. We are
Yeah.
fortunate. You could be whatever you want to. And it's really sad that anybody has a victim. I wish people would just embrace you and listen to you. Just listen, and it'll open your eyes and open your mind to stop being a victim.
Yes.
Nobody's going to tell me I can't.
That's
That's so
right.
crazy. What day in May were you born?
May 22nd.
I'm 12 days before you, May 10th.
Amazing.
I
Nice.
absolutely love that. I love
Well,
how you
happy
say that.
belated birthday. I do
You
want to
too.
tell you that one of the worst things, other than abortion, that ever happened to the blacks
Oh,
was the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement was a socialist camp set up to control the blacks by telling them, oh, you need civil rights. The white man trying to hold you back. But what they were really playing, it was socialism being made right in front of the blacks, and they didn't see it, right? But what they did was they they told the blacks they couldn't make it. You need to ride on the front of the bus and all that crap. Who care about riding on the front rather than the back? And the blacks go to the back of the bus now when they can ride on the front or anywhere, right? But they told them that it was Jim Crow, that the white man was trying to hold them back. And then once the blacks believed Jesse Jackson and Martin Luther King and all those people, Jesse Jackson and those guys sold the blacks to the Democratic Party. And they
Yes.
said to the Democrats, we want to be their leaders, but we'll let you have them. Give them a welfare check. We get rid of the black man. You become the daddy of the family. And it's just been downhill ever since. They've made them be dependent on government and reparations, and now they want welfare. And they don't want the family to come back together. They don't want the men back home with the family, because if they do, the blacks just may become independent thinkers again, and those people will be out of a job. The wicked witch of the West, Maxine Water with the low IQ, they will
Oh, that
all
one.
be out of a job. The civil rights movement destroyed the black family, and they have never returned. They've only gotten worse, except for a few. Not all, not all, not all, not all, but most return back to being an individual, but most have not done it.
See, that's so insane that you answered that, because I was going to ask you, where do you think this went wrong? See, as a white woman, I predominantly, I hail Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as a hero, as somebody, but to hear that he's been used, that saddens me, because you can't go to any city that, especially, a big city where there's not a Martin Luther King Jr. drive,
I
you
know.
know, it's it's sad because a lot of people, especially to what you said, that should open up a lot of eyes. The Democratic plantation, and that's crazy to me, how the Democratic Party today says that the Republican Party are the real racist and this, that, and the other, when history speaks for itself that the Democratic Party has always been the one driving the stake,
Yes.
so to
As a
speak.
matter of fact, prior to the so-called civil rights movement, most black people were Republican. I didn't even know the Democrat black people. Most of them were Republican. Even Martin Luther King has been said that he was a Republican before he sold his soul over to the Democratic Party for the control of the people. But most black people were Republican, and the Republican Party, hopefully you heard about this, was founded by blacks and whites because the Democrats didn't want blacks to be a part of their party, involved in the Democratic Party. So they started the Republican Party. And then they had black congressmen and senators and things like that, Republican. And that's why the KKK started to attack the blacks. They were not attacking them because they were black. They were attacking them because
Republican.
they were Republican, and the party was growing strong, and they were trying to stop it.
Amazing. That's crazy. See, you got me saying it. Amazing. You know,
Amazing.
that's so crazy,
Yeah.
because that's how that happened. And I think Alabama, from like 1809 or something to like 819 something, they only had like 8 black Republican leaders out of like 100 years. And that's insane to me, because even growing up, I was taught in history class that the Republicans were for freeing the slaves and the Democrats were for keeping people enslaved. And
Yes.
it's so true to this day. And when I see anybody defending that, and like Dr. Rashad Ritchie, I'm going, you are a literal slave right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
reparations, uh-uh, bad move,
It
because
is.
what are your specific thoughts on reparations, and I'll tell you if I agree.
Number one, blacks do not deserve reparations. They haven't done anything. And these that are complaining, they were never enslaved. All the slaves are dead. And they don't know for sure if they had ancestors who were involved in slavery, enslaved anyway. It's just all of a sudden, just because you're black, you had ancestors who were enslaved. It's not necessarily so. And there were black slave owners as well. And you never hear them bring that up at all. Will those black people and their ancestors have to pay them money because so-called slavery? Blacks need to go to work. They need to take control of their own life. They need to earn their way and stop being victim and taking these handouts because it's keeping them down. And plus, it wouldn't be fair to white people who are working to have to give these people money for no reason at all. They're not even guilty. The white people have nothing to do with the situation of the blacks, right? And
Right.
it's not fair to them that they should have to give them anything. And it's not fair to the whites to feel guilty about something they had nothing to do with. I did a report this morning on New York, where
Oh,
in New York, the black teachers could not pass the standardized test to become a teacher because they were so dumb. And they call the test racism, right? And now they are going to get money for being dumb. Uh,
no, they're not. Only in New York. Only in New
Only
York does that make
right.
sense.
De Blasio somehow or another set aside some money or passed some type of proclamation or something that those black teachers could not pass the test, and they call the test racism. And so they're going to give these blacks millions of dollars because they were dumb, not because they were smart, not because they worked hard, but because they were dumb. And you know what the blacks are saying about it? Right on. I deserve this. I got to pay my rent. My credit card, I overspent my credit card. What an embarrassment, huh?
Yeah, it is because I think any handout from the government is probably not in your best interest because then,
Nope.
they literally own you.
Yep.
They literally own you.
Yep.
A woman on welfare, she can't be married if she wants those food stamps to feed her kids.
That's
Y-
right.
You're not going to get that free the Obamacare if you get into a relationship with a man that actually works to provide for the family. They keep people enslaved, and it's wrong.
That's how they were keeping the black. Some are starting to escape the plantation of the Democratic Party, but that's how they are keeping the blacks on the plantation of the Democratic Party by making them feel good about being wrong. Oh, it's not your fault. It's racism. It's not your fault. It's someone else's, right? And then they throw them a few dollars so that they can feel like they're getting something for nothing. And they are using the black people by saying that it's racism, which is a lie. But the whole purpose of keeping the blacks on the Democratic plantation for the vote and to
Mm.
use them when they want to get an agenda across and to get money. They don't care about the blacks at all.
Historically speaking, absolutely not. And the agenda pushers, they knew when George Floyd, which, let's face it, when you eat when you're a career criminal, first of all, when you hold a knife to the pregnant belly of a woman, I don't care if she's black or white, you are a criminal. When you are passing fake money and selling dope to kids and you eat fentanyl enough to kill the entire room, probably the whole stream here, and meth, you're going to die. We have and then they knew. So social media kicked off. I'm sorry, but I was taught, if I saw that, you know, I would probably not sit here with my phone out. I would probably, risk going to jail, by pushing
Yeah.
a cop off of him, but nobody seemingly did that. And there's everybody just filming this and doing nothing but, after the fact they got him in the car, he ate the drugs, and or it was before, I think, they had him on the ground, but whatever the case may be, they use that as all cops are racist. He was an upstanding citizen, and it's like, no, he really is not a upstanding citizen. He's not a martyr, and it's so sad how easily people were impressionable like that and easily manipulated to destroy and create utter anarchy. My city, Cleveland, Ohio, has nothing to do with Ferguson or anywhere else for that matter. My city was destroyed. And it's like, you guys do not see they're using you. Maxine
Yeah.
Waters and Nancy Pelosi. we're cheering them on.
In spite of all those things being reported that they say George Floyd was doing, they still were able to control the blacks by telling them it's racism. And they showed the so-called knee on George with the white man knee on him. And like, look, his knee is on the neck. And they used that brainwashing the people with the word racism, which is just a word with no meaning. But they used that word and they brainwashed the blacks to believe that racism exists. And so, and what's even worse is they tore down monuments and statues and and took down flags, the greatness of this country. And guess what they replaced it with?
With
A,
the gay flag.
a George Floyd statue.
Oh, George Floyd. Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine that? Like,
No.
what the? Can you imagine your kid walking past this black statue? Mommy, what's that? That's George Floyd. Well, what did he do? He was a
Caused
criminal.
chaos. Right. He caused chaos and anarchy and all kinds of stuff and did drugs. He's not
What a,
a.
but what's even worse though is that white people, especially white men, due to fear and knowing that this is their country, they created this country, they are afraid to speak up about it. They're afraid to get involved and say no, and they're allowing these people to destroy their own country, the white man's country, in the same way they did in South Africa, right? The white people were pressured and made to feel like racist. And white people gave up South Africa and moved out into the farmlands. They're like, okay, blacks, y'all can have it. You can have the banks, you can have everything. We gone. We're out of here. We're going to go back to the plantation. And we're going to be.
Right.
And so they gave that over to the blacks, headed up by Nelson Mandela with his mess. And then the blacks turned South Africa into pure hell, all ghetto, burning and stealing and robbing and killing. And then that wasn't enough. They started to go out into the farmlands and attack the whites out in the farmland, robbing and raping and stealing and killing. And now the whites on the farmland have to put electric fence around their home.
Yeah, and then when they shut the power off every day, they're screwed. It's ridiculous how it's.
Why don't the white man stand up? How do you feel knowing that your own people won't stand up?
I think it's guilt. They've been instilled guilt. I think a lot of people have been in the media, especially told that if white people are the devil, basically, critical race theory teaches that you should be guilty. BLM demands that we give our properties to somebody black or brown.
Yeah.
I think that they've made us be ashamed of literally something we had no control over. And I think when
Had
people realize that, it'll get better.
had nothing to do with. But what do white people think going to happen? White people are being blamed for everything now. The most hated species on this side of heaven today is the white man. He hasn't done anything, but he in all the white countries they're being blamed for everything, and yet they continue to let these people of color to come into their country, knowing that they're coming from S-hole countries. They're going to bring their S-hole ideas and they're going to destroy the country. Why don't they pull the wall up and keep the people of color out and get strong with the ones that are living there?
Well, because when they try to stand up, it's called racism. And
That's fine.
it's a word and it's lost its value anymore today.
Yeah.
And it's really sad that, standardized tests are racist.
Yeah.
Sleeping is the latest thing that's racism. Sleeping. Next will be breathing. The next will be water. Don't drink water. It's racist.
Right.
And I think that they just are too afraid. They have too much guilt. They're afraid to be labeled a bigot. And I'm like over here going, call me whatever you want to. I'm
That's
going to be
right.
on the side of the good. And if
Yeah.
you're acting like an a-hole, I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
that you're acting like an a-hole in hopes that you will see the light and see how you're acting. But I think
don't
people
know
are just too afraid.
I don't know if you heard the new racism. You know how white people like to work out and they like to take care of themselves. They like to be fit and wear instead of fat and sloppy looking. They like to be fit. Unless you live in Alabama, you go to one of those places that you can eat all you want. I went down to Alabama a while back, and they have these. I forgot what they call it, a place where you can go in there and just sit in there all day and eat as much as you want. I have never seen so many fat women in all my life. Fat white women.
Oh my gosh.
Because I live out in LA, all the women out here like thin and amazing looking, right? And I went back to Alabama and I went to one of those all you can eat places. I saw all these fat white women. I'm like, what the? I didn't know white women can get that fat.
Oh my. It's
But
gluttony. That's gluttony. That's pure gluttony to eat.
there was that they were as fat as the black women. I'm like, what the? But
The baby's got
they
curves.
have this new racism now where if you like to stay fit, you work out, you eat, you take care of yourself in the right way, they're calling that racism. They call that Nazi racism because you want to be fit. They don't even want the white people to work out. They want you to get fat, have a heart attack, and die.
Yeah, that's what they're promoting. They're promoting body positivity. No, that's fat. That's obesity. That's dangerous. You're not going to live your life long. You're not going to be like Jesse here, where you're not going to live to see,
Yeah.
your birthdays, because I think they have just promoted too much evilness in this world. You gluttony, every deadly sin in the world, in the Bible has been looked at like it's something good, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's pure evil. It's the devil,
Yeah.
and people just don't. They don't want to see it. They are too brainwashed, and I think they have mush brain anymore to see that. Who could even come up with something as stupid as getting fit is racism?
Racism is being fit now. They don't want you to exercise. Don't try to be like the white man. And that's not all. You haven't heard nothing yet. They're saying now that white food, plain food, regular food, white bread, is racist as well. And so
Oh,
apparently they have this thing going on in China where somewhere, I think China, where the people are like having a hissy fit on TikTok somewhere about white food because that's racist too.
oh my, give it to me. I'll eat it. My God. It's when they took down Aunt Jemima, when they took away Uncle Ben, when they
Yeah.
took away the little Indian on Land O'Lakes, when they took away my Cleveland Indians, my Chief Wahoo, when Cleveland was one of the first MLB teams that starred Native Americans, and Chief Wahoo was our beloved figure. We held him to our standard, and they canceled him because everything's racist. The white liberal are the worst people in
Yeah.
the world. I don't care what anybody says. They are.
Yeah.
They gripe. They Everything's racist, racist, racist. It's so stupid anymore. I'm over here just like, oh, you know what? If you fart, you're a racist. It's
That's
like, oh,
right.
okay, okay. When do you think we'll see an end to this madness? Because I'm praying with everything. The pendulum swings to the side back to common sense, where people can honestly see and and be guided the right way. The role models that they have today ain't they're wrong. They're wrong for them. They're
Well,
not good.
as far as the physical things that are happening in our country, the economy, shutting the border down, bringing back jobs, lowering the taxes, and things like that, that's not going to change until the Great White Hope come back. So I'm hope, and you know who the Great White Hope is, right?
Donald Trump. He's orange.
Amazing. Let me just, for those who don't know, let me introduce the Great White Hope.
ISIS has spread like cancer. Another mess I inherited.
The Great White Hope. If ever we needed the Great White Hope,
It's
we
now.
need him now. We
Oh
need
my
him back.
God. I'm so jealous of you. All I have is this. Let's bring out our toys.
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit.
See, that's my BS meter for when I know I'm talking anything about the Democrats or the left. That's
but
amazing. You should
but
sell those on your website. I'll buy one right now.
amazing. And but things are not going to change physically until we get him back. A man, him or a man like him, and that's hard to find nowadays. But
Yeah.
as far as living with perfect peace on this earth, while we live, we're going to have to work on ourselves. Each individual have to work on themselves. And there is another reality, and that reality is inside of us. The real life, real kingdom, everything we're looking for, everything we want, everything we will ever need is in us already. The kingdom of heaven is within. So we must go and forgive mama for turning away from daddy and recreating you in her image. You must forgive her and return to the Father, the earthly Father. Love your earthly Father, and God will draw you into the kingdom of heaven. And that's when life will begin because there, yes, there is a physical world out there, but we are our world. Everything is in us already. God made that possible. And we need to, I want to encourage the people to look within. I know I'm running out of time here. They're trying to get my attention, but the kingdom of heaven is within. No human being can bring you perfect peace. Only God can give you that. When you forgive your mothers, when you forgive your fathers, God will forgive you. Then the light will come on and it will shine in the darkness of the imagination, destroy the ego, and you'll have paradise on earth. But and no human being, no money, no fame, no glory, nothing can do that but the spirit of the Father. So I want to encourage the men and women to look within, forgive their mothers for turning them away from their fathers. Don't ask for forgiveness. I'm sorry for resenting you, mother. You created me in your image. I know you couldn't help it. I'm sorry. God will forgive and you can be free right here on earth. And all things will be taken care of, will be added unto you. Whatever your heart desire is, you shall have that given to you by God. But you got to become an individual. You must be your own man, your own woman, and not be afraid to stand alone. It's going to be amazing.
Beautifully said, lone wolf style.
Yeah,
I love the fact that you gave me your time. Thank you so much, and
absolutely.
I hope nothing but the best for you. If Rashad Ritchie ever gives you any smoke, you call me right away, and I
I
got him.
will.
I got him. And with to leave out, who are black? What's BLM again?
Radical fat black lesbians.
Thank you, Jesse Lee.
Eh,
Take care, guys. Make sure you subscribe to Jesse Lee.
May I give out my website or do you put that up or how did that
Yeah,
go?
yeah. Go ahead right now. Give me your website and I will put it on I will scroll it across the bottom here. Go ahead. What is it?
Rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com, and jesseleepeterson.com. Jesseleepeterson.com.
And Jesse. I
Rebuild
have
rebuildingtheman.com
Jesse Lee Peterson.
and jesseleepeterson.com.
All right, here we go. Let's add the banner and show it. There it is. Rebuildingtheman.com and jesseleepeterson.com. Make sure
Okay.
you guys check him out. Did I spell it right? I'm so dyslexic and I'm hoping that I did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Make
Well,
sure
no problem. I'm black and I'm slow, so I wouldn't have caught it anyway.
Hey, it's White History Month. You got to wait till
Happy
February.
Happy White History Month. Our 6th year of celebrating white history.
Amazing. Thank you so much again.
All
I
right, thank
appreciate
you.
you.
I totally enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank you again.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye now.
Oh my goodness, that was absolutely amazing, enlightening. I knew that I would get something out of it. I hope you guys did too. A lot forgiveness is a very hard thing. He's right. And a lot of it starts with your parents, and a lot of people don't realize that your deep-seated traumas do start at the matriarchal and the patriarchal levels where you got some forgiveness to do. And if you're anything like me, I was not an easy child to raise. And I knew by having Jesse Lee Peterson on here, the Reverend himself, that I would learn a lot. You guys, 43 years old. I don't know all of the answers. I don't have a book of life. What I do have is an idea of how to be good and how, it's either good or evil. You're on the side of good or you're rolling with the evil people. I'm not. I don't care anymore. I was a violent person back in the day. I was so angry. I wasn't violent. I was very angry. And that anger, ooh, it festered and it ruled my life. It really did. and I was able to forgive people. I know Jesse says to fully forgive, you have to forget, but it's really difficult process. So I hope everybody had a great time here. I hope you guys got to learn a lot. You know, I don't know when the world will become a better place. I have no idea. Again, I don't have the answers for that. But you guys, he's right. You got to stand up. You got to stop with the white guilt. You got to. It's not your problem. You had nothing to do with the past. The only time you have something to do with a situation, if it goes awry, is if you were the perpetrator. You know, it doesn't matter what you look like, but I wish again I had the answers as to how do we fix this, because so much damage has been done. It's nearly impossible to make everybody on that same level. But individually, again, see, my whole mantra is I can't control the actions of other people, so I ain't even going to try it anymore. I can control my actions, and that's it. And I think when people get on that level of wanting to fix themselves and not wanting a whole herd of people, because that herd mentality gets you absolutely nowhere. It really doesn't. What it gets you is a lot of people who will backstab you, and you're only going to get hurt in the end. So you have to take responsibility. You have to work on yourself. And are you going to be perfect? No. But don't beat yourself up if you're not perfect. And if you make a couple of mistakes down the road, that's how we learn. That is definitely how we learn. And I'm so grateful that I had him on. I am such a fan of his. And it's tragic to see how they treat this man. The words that they call him is absolutely abhorrent. They should be ashamed of themselves. And best believe at the end, they're going to have to pay for that. And this is why you should never mistreat people. I don't care if you are doing it in person or over the internet. Think twice about what you say. And who cares if people are Trump supporters? Hey, does that mean they're not good people? Do you even care to ask that of them? Do you even care to get to know them? Or the very first second that you hear that they're a Trump supporter, you have been brainwashed into attacking them? Because I've seen some comments, and who's the tard now? The libtard, only libtards, the people that literally call people Trump tards when it was not even provoked. The real people are the brainwashed ones that attack people for their political beliefs. Congratulations, you're officially on the Democratic plantation, no matter what you look like. And no matter what you look like, if you think for 1 second that you cannot succeed in this beautiful country that we have, you have been lied to. You have been brainwashed. I don't agree with everything Jesse Lee Peterson says, but I agree with him on a lot of things. And good versus evil is where we are at. And if you want to fight on the side of good, perfect, let's go. If you want to fight on the side of evil, well, guess what? You're going to have people like me that are your contender or your opponent. I'm sorry, my bad. How did you guys like the stream? How did you guys like? I get angry from time to time. Don't get it twisted. I do. I love this right here, Victoria. You are amazing, by the way. Thank you. Yes, we are a mosaic of our life's choices. Now, that could either be a beautiful mosaic or it could be a really effed up looking one. Just how it's how you make it. Let's see, what did Miss Dorinda say? Almost all Trump supporters are America supporters. That's true. That's true. I live in Seattle, and this is Trump County. I mean, I thought Seattle, Washington was like absolutely crazy right now. Maybe that's just my misconception because of the news and stuff like that I was watching. Well, on YouTube, I don't watch the news anymore, but I watch how the tent cities are and how people are homeless, and it's just crazy over there. Oh, somebody said Jesse is the biggest troll of them all. Here you are, Carlos. Jesse Lee is the greatest troll on planet Earth. He really is. But I'll tell you what, I think he does it for sarcasm. I think because, what more does he have to work with? When when you have these people literally brainwashed, he's going to play with you. In fact, I think we should watch one of his most savage moments. I love the fact that he said BLM is full of black fat radical lesbians. I would love to get that tattooed on me. Let me see. Jesse Lee Peterson, what is a man? And this guy, David Packham. I didn't like his video. I was not impressed by the way he handled himself with Jesse Lee. I was like, I'm not giving him the view. I just want to see the most savage. We're gonna watch the Rashad Rich. No, okay, no, because I don't want to give him the view either. If you ever want to, look at a channel without giving them the view, either don't sign in to your Google account, or you can turn on incognito mode and they won't get the view either. But I can't do that from here. I'd have to do that on my my phone. Jesse Lee Peterson's most savage, and I think I should do a reaction to this because you know what I think. I can't disagree with the guy. I really can't. And seeing where he came from to where he is today, if that don't show you that anybody can do anything they want in this beautiful country, I don't know what the hell will. Born on a plantation himself. People have they've lost their ever-loving minds. All right, let's look at his most savage moments here, you guys. It's only about 13 minutes long. If you're willing to stick around with me, I'd greatly appreciate you. I think I'm really grateful that I'm not on the receiving end of any of these because I'm not radicalized. I'm one of those people that is I'm a proud individualist. I love my country. I love my veterans, and I love common freaking sense. Okay, so he asked her, "Are you a Christian?" Uh-oh. Thank God he came on. He was so fun.
Are you a Christian?
I am not.
You're not a Christian?
No.
And where do you put yourself as concerning religion?
Maybe I'm multi-religious, if that makes sense.
No.
I am a person who believes in.
See, I used to do that though. I used to pull the best from all religions and then do it into one. And now I just say, no, I'm sticking with Christianity. Look at this. She says, maybe. And he goes, no.
Religion.
Maybe I'm multi-religious, if that makes sense.
No.
I am a person who believes in faith and goodness holistically.
Mason, I've noticed that women today, not all, but mostly liberal women, they seem to be, they pretend to be tough, but yet when you see these type of movements, they are saying that they're weak. You know, they need laws and they accuse men. It's as though they don't know how or have the strength to say no to a man or to walk away. Whereas when I was growing up, women were stronger. And if they didn't want to do anything with you, you knew it. You said, okay, fine. You know, what happened?
Let's do it, Tyson. Let's do it. So here, email me real quick right now. Here's my email. Email me right now with your email address because you know I already got off of Instagram because they suck and they're demons and they, you know exactly what they do, right? Go ahead and do that. You guys make sure you are a subscriber and a follower and a buyer of his music. Download Tyson James. Let me tell you something. Oof. They don't like him neither, but I love him. I think he's good people. And yes. Let's get you on. Absolutely. Go ahead and hit me up with an email right now. And then as soon as I'm done with this video, I will email you back and let's get it. I absolutely adore Tyson, man. That is right here, a strong Christian man. And he's not afraid to speak it. And he's not afraid to show people, hey, if you're a dad, be a father. I love it. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Happened to these women that they're so weak that they need to pass laws. They're always complaining. They're starting movements. While yet you hear them say, oh, I'm a strong woman. I'm strong. I'm wonderful. It's like they're lying. A lie is in there somewhere because a strong woman or a strong person wouldn't be crying and passing laws and trying to hurt other people, they
Thank
would defend
you.
themselves. They would go on with life because life offers so many challenges. Are they weak or are they strong? I don't know what they are and what they want.
Well, I don't think she knows either. I think she's absolutely confused to the absolute like reality of what the matriarchy and what the patriarchy is. I don't see a man as a threat. She does. She says women should be absolutely paid as much as men, and me over here, I don't. I'm sorry. I just don't. Well, no, I'm not sorry. I just don't.
And it's mostly liberal women, feminist kind of people.
Facts.
We have found that it actually takes great strength.
Oh, that right there. He's like, it's liberal feminist women. And she goes, well, we have, so she's a radical feminist. Ah, nice to know. I've noticed that. Did you see that look on her face? Oh, yeah. Right there, I knew she was a radicalized neo-feminist.
What they are and what they want. And it's mostly liberal women, feminist kind of people.
We have found that it actually takes great strength to come forward to tell your story. And
it doesn't take much strength to do that.
It does.
No, it does not. Let me tell you something. Today on my, he's right. He's right. Today on my channel, I talked about something that I've never talked about on my channel before. And it was a very painful experience. Was it hard for me to talk about it? No, it wasn't. Yeah, open your mouth and the words come out. If you want to say your story, you will say your story. She's full of malarkey, is what she is. It doesn't make you any more powerful by telling your story either. You might help somebody by showing your bravery, your openness, and your willingness to be open and honest, even if it's a hard truth, even if it opens you up to be judged. That is why she thinks, oh, it's so hard to tell your story. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. You just got to do it and hope that people follow along and follow suit and stay. You know what? If she could be honest, so could I. Damn, because that shit wasn't easy. It wasn't. But it wasn't, morally speaking, it wasn't easy for me to say these things because I figured, man, they're going to judge the hell out of me. But that was so long ago. What could it hurt me? It can't hurt me anymore. It's done. It's over with. Was it tragic? Yes. Was it traumatic? Absolutely. But in no way, shape, or form did I think that, oh, I deserve a medal for telling my story. No, I don't. I'm just hopefully people will see how bad my situation was and how it affected me so that they don't do the same thing. And I'm talking about the big old A word, the Roe versus Wade thing. Let me tell you something. This lady irritates me already. I'm super irritated by her presence because I think she's
It takes strength to say, hey, guy, I don't want to have sex with you. Leave me alone.
There were plenty of white, privileged oppressors that took advantage of the system to continue to abuse and oppress African Americans who are great contributors of society.
What the frick? Okay, somebody has drank in the plantation Kool-Aid again. You know what happens with Jim Jones era, right? Do you guys realize what happened at Jonestown? Yeah. Need I remind you that 1,000 people drank cyanide-laced Flavor Aid. He couldn't even spring for the Kool-Aid. Oh my God, the white man's this giant oppressor. No, he ain't. You're allowing that. You're allowing people to tell you that you're oppressed, and that's wrong. You're not oppressed. And this lady's stupid.
When did that happen and when?
All throughout history, as soon as white people started going to Africa and pulling people against their will onto slave ships.
That didn't happen.
Like 80.
That's a made up lie. The blacks were sold to the Arabs by other blacks.
Hold on a second here. She believed that the white man went over to Africa. Hang on. Let's blow this up. She believes that the white man went over to Africa and snatched people up out of their homes and made them into slaves. She literally said that. Has she not opened a history book at all? Has she not? Did she not know that Africans kidnapped each other? They absolutely did, and they sold them to Arabs, who then sold them to the Europeans. So, and even black slave owners, and he's going to school the living daylights out of her right now, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. So I'm going to press the play button right now because she is wrong.
Onto slave ships.
That didn't happen.
Hold on.
When did that happen and when?
All throughout history, as soon as white people started going to Africa and pulling people against their will onto slave ships.
That didn't happen.
He's right. It didn't happen. She is a fool. She's a dumb fool. A liberal, a complete slave. This woman is a slave to the Democratic Party. She literally just said actual lies.
Happened. That's a made-up lie. The blacks were sold to the Arabs by other blacks, elitist black, rich black kings, and then those Arabs took them to other parts of the world and sold them. The white man didn't just go to Africa to get some Negroes. That was made up.
Did you see her eye movement? Like, oh crap, he got me. I did. I watched her body language. Now, I'm no body language expert, but this was the gotcha moment. She's like, wait, what? Watch her eyes move and be like, oh, her head don't move, but her eyes do. Watch this. I really do pay attention to stupid crap like that. Yes, I do. It's a cue, nonverbal cue.
Those Arabs took them to other parts of the world and sold them. The white man didn't just go to Africa to get some Negroes. That was made up.
Either way, they were sold against their will. A human being is not to be bought or sold. They're not.
Children are not for sale. God's children are not for sale. But you say nothing about that, do ya? She's got some involuntary eye movements. She's a fool.
But it wasn't about a so-called white privilege. Male.
Okay, let's substitute the word white for Arab then.
No, yeah, it was.
That's fine.
The Arabs who did it, and yes,
Arab privilege.
Maybe that was wrong, but the white man didn't do it. So likewise,
but it was still wrong.
It's such a very interesting point you're making. Because likewise, these liberal women, they could be making up lies too, just like you thought that was the truth. They could be pushing a lie as well with a hidden agenda. Is that possible?
No.
Do you consider yourself a feminist?
Yes. Yeah, say it.
I consider myself a human being.
How about a feminist?
I consider myself a human being.
How about a feminist?
I consider myself a human being.
I can see that you're a human being, but do you consider yourself a feminist?
It's a good question. That's something that's been asked of me quite a lot recently.
Sure. Well, I wonder why.
Yeah. And what is feminism?
Okay. Well, feminism is
stupid.
A movement both socially and anthropologically in recent modern history, although it has existed previously throughout civilization in many cultures. When
she can't even speak.
Whereas it's concerned for women.
Did you watch how Jesse and my conversation flowed? That's what's supposed to happen here. She missed the bus.
Women's rights.
It's a
whether
bus.
That's equality or education or the right to work or reproductive rights. And that happens through social activism, through lawmaking, education, so on and so forth. My definition, I think a feminist in its most fundamental, just so we're clear, the most fundamental, simplest form is somebody that looks at a woman and goes, hey, you're cool.
That's a very interesting statement. And so I need a short answer.
Okay.
I've never asked anyone this before. How does a man look at a woman and not think she is attractive and think sex? How?
Oh my God. Oh boy. You know, Jesse Lee Peterson, make sure you guys are visiting his website, rebuildingtheman.com, and jesseleepeterson.com is his website. I should have asked him for that before, but I love the fact that he literally did. He let her rot. He let her hang herself. He literally handed her the longest noose humanly possible and just sat back and waited for that moment to strike. And she might lose her shit on this question. And I'm here for it all the way because what a fool. Like, you literally This man has been around the block. He's been on this earth a very long time. You are not going to get him. And that is what I love so much about Jesse Lee Peterson. He don't put up with anybody, and he don't allow you to push her propaganda. He'll shut you up, and that's why I love him so much. So he just asked her a very important question: of how does a man look at a woman and say they see her body and they don't think sex? That's the question he just asked her. Let's see how she answers. I guarantee you she's going to come up with some unhinged feminist, neo-feminist answer. Her reproductive rights argument, we'll get to that in a minute.
How's that possible?
They just they make a choice not to do it.
But it's okay for men to look at women and go, yeah.
I think any man
Mamma
that says
mia.
that they, if any man says that they don't do that
Right.
in their head, they're probably lying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably.
And women too, right?
Absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
human thing.
Are feminists in competition with men? Yes or no?
Some of them are, some of them aren't.
I got that
Baloney.
impression from those godless women at the Golden Globe Award that they were in competition with men.
Some of them are, some of them aren't.
Do you love men?
Do I love men?
No,
I do.
You know.
no, she doesn't. That was a flat out lie. The tone in her voice lowered. I do. No, she doesn't. She absolutely detests men. You could tell.
I do.
And what is love?
Mm.
Wow. Yikes.
I think that, what is human love? Like, what is love between two people?
No, just what is love?
Oh my goodness. All right, let's see how she answers this, because I'm over here perplexed because I'm still stuck on her reproductive rights. Okay. Oh, shit.
A woman accused a man of sexual assault.
Uh-oh.
Should we just take her word at it or just hear her out, but wait until the evidence presents itself?
Here, I'm going to answer that question. First of all, if somebody said that they were victimized, and especially if it's a child, you will always believe that child, okay? And then you present that evidence and get that evidence to absolutely bring justice to that child. There has been far too many cases of women falsely accusing men of that, which makes real victims afraid to speak out. And I think personally, which some feminists are going to despise me for this, but if you make a false allegation of a man doing that to you just to get back at him, you should rot in prison, because that could ruin somebody's entire life. Let's see what she's got to say. I hope it's starkly different, because I don't want to be anything like this woman.
I think, well, I mean, being the founder of the I Believe You project, our aim is to have belief be the default position for all survivors of sexual violence.
Before the proof?
I think that it's important that we hear them out. It is what is
But
not okay.
Believe it though, right?
There are countless women and men who have brought forth proof to community leaders, the system, law enforcement, whatever, and they are disbelieved regardless of the
Well,
proof.
that's a different story. But just because someone says it, should we believe them just because they said it?
I think it's worth reserving judgment.
Oh, that's her promo video where she lied just now and said, no, I think we should wait and just take it as it is. And now here's her video of I believe you no matter what. Okay. You know, it's really sad that the people that falsely accuse the men of that is why we are in that position in the first place. So let's start blaming who's absolutely at fault. And the people that do get attacked like that, that is not your fault. Somebody absolutely preyed on you, and that's absolutely terrible. I know I've been in that situation before. And when Jesse said when Jesse said that's neither here nor there, that's a totally different situation where some women are not believed. When it happened to me on my 25th birthday, my first son's father, on my 25th birthday, I went to the police and the female detective didn't believe me because, oh, don't you have a baby together? Don't you live together? Blah, blah, blah. That's neither here nor there, right? And I lived with those resentments for a long time. No, I didn't get believed. And it's because of the women who have made false allegations as to why I wasn't believed, which really sucked. And just by saying, hey, I believe you, I will never, ever, ever look at somebody who has said I've been a victim and not believe them. I have to believe them as a victim myself. I do, but I would love to make sure that you bring forth justice to your perpetrator. It's such a sticky situation, you guys. It really is. That's a really hard one for me, seeing that I've been in that situation. But I will not stop condemning the women that have falsely accused men. I think it's absolutely wrong. It's a hoax. It's just as bad as a race hoax, if not worse. That could literally ruin somebody forever. Would she celebrate White History Month? Oh, no. She definitely won't.
I have a friend. I have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Trump has. Do you think that Trump tells lies, blatant lies?
Do you see that the president is more transparent than any president or administration in recent history?
No, absolutely not.
Yes.
Absolutely
How
not.
is he not transparent?
Well, why doesn't he own up to the Stormy Daniels story if he's transparent?
That's dumb, man. Don't go there. I mean, give me something
I'm
real.
asking. That's a question. That's a personal thing.
Give me something real.
And it's based in truth somewhere. Why doesn't he just own the truth of it?
I wonder how that caller feels today. I wonder if his opinions have changed.
Shallow. I'm not going there with you. That's shallow. Give me something
real. Why is it shallow? But it speaks about his character.
What does that have to do with the president?
Facts.
In the White House now?
When his character is in question? How is he the
His
light?
character is not in question.
I'm questioning his character. These are questions he hasn't answered.
And the reason you're doing that because you are a member of the family of the children of the lie.
Did you say Gabby Pietro? Who is bringing up Gabby Pietro? The girl that was killed. Who are you guys talking about here? I think Gabby Potato was that chick that we just had on. I think that, with the whole Gabby Pietro story, that's plain out murder. That was absolutely sad. But this caller probably has to feel stupid now that the facts have came out.
Are you a Christian?
I believe in God. Yes.
Are you a Christian?
I believe in God.
Are you a Christian?
I don't think God intended for us to have identities that said we're specifically what he wants us to be. I don't think he wants us to be called Christian or Jewish or Buddhist or anything. He wants us to believe in him. So,
are you a Christian?
I believe in God, yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't ask that.
He asked you 10 times. Just say no. Good Lord. What are you afraid of?
Ask, are you a Christian?
I believe in God.
You're not going to answer that question?
Well, I don't know what a Christian is. I grew up in Christian church. I'll tell you that.
But let me ask, are you a Christian?
Who, me?
No, you.
I don't know if I can identify like that because
Patrick,
in my eyes, Christianity has done a lot of harm.
Patrick, are you a Christian?
I don't think so.
Well, no. Just say no. You could have said that 15 Are You a Christians ago. Jeez, oh, Pete's.
Patrick, are you a Christian?
I don't think so.
You can't answer yes or no?
No, he can't.
I'm not sure. That's for me and God to figure out once I meet God.
Oh, you're going to find out, all right, when you meet him at the pearly gates and he hits the fast button to down. Why can't you just say no? Jeez, oh, Pete's, what are you scared of?
We'll figure that out.
This is insane. You realize you sound insane right now, right?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I told you I grew up in a Christian church. I know exactly what Christianity is.
But how do you know what Christianity is when you don't know if you're one or not?
Well, I'll tell you this. My
If
father,
you know
I
what
consider my
it
father to
is,
be a
if
I
you
consider
know
my father to
what
be a great Christian.
Christianity is, then you would know if you want or not. So it doesn't make sense.
Then I'm not. I'll say I'm not.
You're not a Christian. Why is that so hard to say?
My goodness. Hallelujah. He said it. He said it. We already knew. My God. See, if I ever paired up with Jesse Lee Peterson, we would roast people instantly. He's like Christopher Ray. I can't answer that question. Did you hire Ray Epps? I can't comment on that. Like, shut up. Yes or no. What is so hard about that? It's a 3 and a 2-letter word. Two of the easiest words in the English language. No, you can't answer that simple question. Are you a Christian? It's one of two things. I don't know. Well, what do you mean? Who, me? Who the fuck else do you think he's talking to? Is there anybody else in the room or on the phone? Oy vey. I can't even with some of these people. They are dumb. Dumber than dog crap, no matter why. They're so easily influenced because they ain't got a brain, two of them. They ain't got two brain cells. No, you can't put one and one together because they ain't got two. What the fuck is wrong? My God, man. I don't know how Jesse does it and maintains a straight face. I wouldn't be able to. I would be like, oi, this is going to be fun.
Well, the reason I say that I'm not is because I don't think I live up to the parameters of what a really good Christian
But you
is.
still should know if you're one or not. The answer is yes or no.
No. Then I'll say no.
Amazing. Patrick, I appreciate your call. Hello?
That's all?
Yeah.
That's all?
Yeah, because your mind is blocked. You
No,
can't
it's not
see.
blocked, Jesse. I'm trying to talk to you in
No, you're
reasonable
not.
terms.
No. You're not trying to be reasonable at all. Your mind is blocked. You're an Obama fan.
No. I'm
You are
asking
a
questions about
Trump hater.
No.
And you're a beta male.
You're perpetuating racism, Jesse.
Oh my God. He called them a beta. You definitely are a beta, Patrick, through and through. Because an alpha would have said, you know what, Jesse? No, I am not. That's it. You are a beta male. The only person here perpetuating is you. You are perpetuating and you are procrastinating. What is wrong with you? And will I celebrate White History Month with you guys? Sure will. Because you know what? I am not ashamed of who I am. Trust and believe me, I'm a good person. So would I celebrate White History Month with Jesse Lee Peterson and all of you guys? Yes. Yes, I will. I am not ashamed of that. Hey, if everybody could have Pride Month and Black History Month, then I celebrate White History Month. Sure do. I know a lot of good white people. There are some really bad ones that I know too, but we don't give them the time of day anymore. You know what? After today, I have not only forgiven, but I have long forgotten. Thank you, Jesse Lee Peterson. Oh, I knew I was going to gain something out of this today, and I sure did. Let's finish this out.
No,
you call Trump the Great White Hope.
He is.
Don't you understand what that says to people?
What does that say?
Well, when you don't understand what that says.
What does it say? No, I don't.
Listen,
I don't
Jesse,
understand what that says to people.
I'm going to say one thing.
I don't understand what that says to people. What does it say?
Well, it sounds like you have a little self-hatred going on.
When I call the president the Great White Hope?
Well, when you give him more light than you give yourself, yeah.
But I'm not the president. He's the president. I'm talking about him.
That means nothing. We're all human beings. It means nothing.
So what does it say to you when I call the president the Great White Hope?
It gives me hope that a man of we gave Barack, God bless America. We gave Barack Obama the helm for 8 years, 2 terms. He didn't have enough division and racism that he created. So he needed to do a 3rd term with Joe Biden. If the orange man, I don't even call him the great white hope. I call him the great orange hope. Yes. Okay, then he's white. So freaking what? Yeah. Okay. You know what? If we need somebody like Donald Trump to expose all of them and put back in play the good policies, the great policies that made America thrive and kept children safe, because God's children are not for sale. I don't know how many times I got to say that. Then, yeah, let's call him the Great White Hope. And if you're offended by that, then okay, it's your problem, not mine, not Jesse Lee Peterson's. And if you find offense to the word white, then I guess don't eat rice, seeing as that's the latest thing to be racist, or Wonder Bread. And you guys can send that screenshot, Happy White History Month, to all of the radicalized liberals who want to cancel me, and go right ahead. I don't care. I give you permission. Tell them up yours, because I'm not ashamed of who I am. And being white has nothing to do with it. But I will absolutely say, if you don't like me because of this, it's your problem, not mine. Because I am not going to say, I'm sorry, I'm white. Ugh. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry for who I was born as, because I'm a great person. I've learned over the years to be a good person. And it's taken some, a lot of hard work. But guess what? If it's possible for me, it's possible for anybody. Just saying. I'm a Trumper. I like him. I think he's a great president. He did wonders for this country. And look at it, the state of the country that we are in. It's worse than Obama. And I'll never forgive Barack Obama. Well, I have to. Damn it, Jesse Lee Peterson. I have to forgive Barack Obama for bailing out the banks instead of me, and I foreclosed on my house. But I'm grateful because I don't have to be a slave to the government. I guess it's a win-win. Oh, I can't believe he tried to teach me how to forgive. My goodness. I think I've learned to forgive and forget. Let's do it.
Well, it implies a certain negativity that you may not be thinking about.
And what's that negativity?
Well, look, whether you want to admit it or not, America, the great country of America, was built.
Wait a second here. I'm a self-hating white, but I don't know it. Really? What are you trying to bait me? Are you trying to literally? Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm that stupid that you're going to bait me right now? You're going to race bait me? It ain't going to happen. Sorry, not sorry. I think that if anybody hates themselves for the color that they are, I think that, that's your problem. And I think that's pretty pathetic, because and if you're proud of your skin color too, guess why? You're just pathetic, because you literally are proud of something you played no part in. So, I mean, there's that. I'm not I don't hate myself at all today. I love myself for who I am. And it's been taken a long time to get here, but I'm proud that I've gotten here.
What's that negativity that you get when I call the president the great white hope?
The great country of America was built on the foundation of racism.
That's not true. That's a lie. Racism. That's a lie.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's really a lie.
How is that? When we were enslaved, the white men weren't.
You were never enslaved.
My people were.
You were not enslaved.
Okay,
that's a lie. When were you enslaved?
Junior, shut up. Go back to wherever you came from, would you please? I liked what Rome 13 said. Biden's the great white dope. Thank you for having common sense. Absolutely, he hates black people. He really does, and it's really sad, because I don't know what they ever did to him, but I mean, jeez.
People were.
You were not enslaved. That's a lie. When were you enslaved?
Where was I enslaved? Yes. Personally?
I would love that, George.
Jesse, I'll tell you this. When I grew up
where were you enslaved?
My parents never taught us about racism.
I gotta go. Thank you, Patrick.
Patrick's lying.
What an idiot.
Okay, now.
So are you saying that the president is wrong for putting up a wall around the border?
Well, how do we feel about that one? 85,000 children have been lost. I'm in favor of a wall. Build it.
Yes, I feel he's definitely wrong for that.
Why he wrong? Why is he wrong for that?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. I'm from upstate New York, Utica, New York, to be exactly. Like I said, I'm biracial. My mother is white, father's black. Now I'm from Utica, New York, which is a melting pot of people. When I say it's literally,
why is the president wrong for putting a wall around the borders to stop people from just coming in?
Yes,
because this country was built on nothing but immigrants.
That's not
true. In my city alone, I have 87% of people pretty much that is a melting pot.
Were those immigrants illegal?
I get, majority of them was coming from Ellis Island and back in, definitely.
They came into the country. They came into the country illegally.
Many of them did. You got many of them that came under. You got many of them that crossed into this country back in the days when immigration. These are the people that built this country.
The country had already been built before those people came.
Great
That's why they
screen
were able
name,
to
too. I like
come
that screen name.
because the
Nah,
country was
no, that nah. If anything, they
the
need.
country.
Listen,
No. Hold on. The country was already here. You know who the Great White Hope is, right?
The Great White. Do I know who that is? Like Larry Bird?
Oh my God. Please tell me that people aren't that dumb. Okay. I guess they are. I think I might have lost a couple brain cells listening to those guys. And Jesse just sits back and chuckles like, "Oh, vey, what in the hell is going on here? What did I sign myself up for?" I would love to team up with Salty Cracker. I love his videos. He's a spicy one. He could be the saltine and I'll be the Ritz because my child says, "Mom, you're not white." Because he heard me talking about White History Month. He goes, "Mom, you're not white, you're tan." So I'm like literally the Ritz cracker. I could be the Ritz cracker. Actually, when I was a kid, I was talking to Jesse earlier, and I was talking to him about the only racism that I dealt with was from the little bitch. Her name was also Jen, but Jenny, she went by. She was Irish. We were the only two white girls on the block, with probably within a 3-mile radius, to be honest. At 7 years old, I played with a girl named Nikki. Her mom was white, her dad was black. Her dad was an alcoholic and he came home drunk. He called me. He said, "Get that cracker out of my house." I was like, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was funny. I go home to my grandmother's house, I think it was 2 doors down, actually 2 doors down. And I said, Grandma, I'm a cracker." She goes, "What did you say?" And I said, "I'm a cracker." "Who said that to you?" "Well, James said it to me. Mr. Wilson said it to me." She marched over there and told him, gave her a piece of her mind, reminding him of which cracker were you talking about, the my grandchild who's just a child, or your wife. And that was the end of all. My grandmother was very witty, beautiful woman. I think if people would only do and follow Jesse Lee Peterson and listen to him. I got this book, right? I got this book and I wanted to talk about it while we were in the podcast, but our conversation, like most of my podcasts, the conversation just flows organically and we just have a good time. And the praise for the book itself spoke lots of volumes. Now, on the front of it, Dennis Miller had commented, "This guy is doing God's work." On the back, Dennis Prager had given him such great reviews on it. Ben Shapiro absolutely gave him a stellar review. David Limbaugh, New York Times bestselling author and political commentator, gave him a great great praise here. A lady by the name of Pamela Geller, she's the president of the American Freedom Defense Initiative and author of the Post-American Presidency and the Stop the Islamation of America. And Andrew Clavin, an award-winning author, screenwriter, and media commentator, gave him stellar reviews as well. And I think it's worthy of getting this book if you are somebody looking for some guidance. The victory over victimhood is where a self-help book like this could probably steer you in the right direction. I want to see the youth of today thrive and stop playing the victim card. Don't victimize an entire race of people. If one person who is white has victimized you, it's not the whole white race's fault that have done that, right? The people that you need to have beef with is the people that victimized you. And only when you do forgive them do you gain that freedom back. Forgetting is the hard part. Forgiveness is the easy part. And when you have to forgive yourself, is probably one of the hardest things that you're going to have to do, because we beat ourselves up a lot, you guys, and that keeps us in a constant state of victimhood mentality. And you can't walk around with a chip on your shoulder. Best believe you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy if you're blaming yourself or everybody around you either. Find a good path to take. And I really do believe that this is a really great start. It's called The Antidote, and it's on Amazon, and it's on his website, which is down below. You know, I thank you, this person here, self-hating white lady Jen. She is evil. Thank you so much. Happy White History Month to you. Have a great day, you guys. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you guys have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. Until next time, see you guys. That was awesome.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you fed the dog or not.